Old Nintendo Gamer.
And son.
Then moving on to the Minish Cap. I never played this. Came out in 2004 as well, same as the Four Swords Adventure. 2003 was 2003 or 2002 was the Wind Waker. Wow. So the Minish Cap on Game Boy Advance. I didn't play this back when it came out as well. I didn't own a Game Boy Advance. It was my very extremely poor student years. So I played this on the 3DS as a Virtual Console title as well, and I played it through to completion. Capcom developed GBA game. Top-down Zelda in a kind of Link's Awakening style. Obviously, Minish Cap, meaning that he wears the cap, he gets extremely small to work out certain puzzles of going larger and smaller. And it didn't gel with me, this one. The overworld felt too cluttered. Everything was too close to each other. And just getting from one place to another felt like it was a puzzle in itself. A little bit like Skyward Sword, the complaints that people have about Skyward Sword sometimes. Everything is its segmented little areas and all that. But some of the dungeons were nice and the boss fights were good, as usual. Did you play this one, Nick?
I've got it on Wii U, but I've not played it for more than half an hour, so I think I got it with gold coins as well, actually, quite cheaply.
Actually, I think it was on the Wii U I played it, yeah.
The thing I will say is I think the graphic, the sprite work is amazing. It looks fantastic.
It is gorgeous and vibrant, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they just thrown too much into the overworld, and it's very hard to distinguish what's a graphic and what's in the background. Greg, Minish Cap?
Minish Cap was another one of those 3DS ambassador games, so I dipped my toe into it and probably played it for about half an hour, like Nick done. Wasn't feeling it. Don't really like it.
Yeah, it was something different. So back then, there's a famous meme of the IGN crew with Per Schneider and Matt, all those, Matt Casamassima and all those, looking rather bored. And then all of a sudden, the Twilight Princess GameCube trailer comes up, and they probably pulled a face like I did, you know. Yeah. Absolute ecstasy on their face there, as if England have just won the World Cup, or Northern Ireland, Greg. Twilight Princess for the GameCube and the Wii, of course. It came across two systems. I played it on the Wii. I dropped off on the GameCube because I was moving to Taiwan. Ended up getting it on the Wii, but I ended up with a Japanese Wii, so I had to play through the game in Japanese. There were sticking points there. There was a particularly one, I can't remember. I had to collect something and take it to somebody, and that was a kerfuffle because it was all in Japanese. But I still liked my time with it, especially elements like the Bridge of Eldin and all that, and jousting with one of the bogoblin riding, whatever they were riding, boars one day. Those kind of elements. Was that because I've only played it once basically, back in 2006, 2007 probably, in Japanese. It had double hook shots, didn't it?
Yes.
Was that it was double hook shots. It was a Twilight Princess, wasn't it? Yeah, because they complained Skyward Sword removed them. Little elements like that, adding to what Ocarina of Time did, felt a lot like Ocarina of Time. But it's the nostalgia of Ocarina of Time that stands out for me. You know, and Ocarina of Time is still heads and shoulders above Twilight Princess as a Zelda game. Maybe because of the Twilight areas, Nick.
I don't know. I think for me personally, I think the Twilight aspect is the best part of the game. Otherwise, it is just Ocarina of Time. I think when we said earlier about how that Hyrule in Ocarina of Time was like, it felt really big, but it wasn't huge. This game has the opposite problem. Like, the world is too big and there's nothing in it. I think they sort of succumb to that mentality of, bigger is better. And it was just, I thought the world was dull and empty. Like, there were some nice points and some nice sort of landmarks. Kakariko Village was terrible. how they got rid of that and just basically turned it into an empty desert town. I'm trying to think now. Death Mountain, can't remember what that looks like at all.
I can't remember hardly any of it either.
The desert also, I can barely remember that. I think it was a response to the backlash, not after it came out, but before it was, when it was revealed, the backlash of Wind Waker. And I think they just tried to go, okay, well, Ocarina of Time, that's what they loved, so we'll have to do that again. I do think it was a reaction to that sort of everyone said, oh, it's a kid's game, or it's, they tried to make it serious and adult with dark themes. And yeah, it's just, I mean, was it Jeff Gertzman who gave it an 8.7 back in the day from GameSpot?
8.8, great.
8.8, bang on the money. It's not a 9 out of 10 game for me either. I mean, it's good. I enjoy it. I've beaten it twice. I've played it through on the Wii, and I've beaten it on the Wii U as well, the HD version. And it's solid. The dungeons, some of them are fantastic, like really, really good. Some of the items are pretty good as well, like new ones, unique, like the claw shots, like you said, on 2 hands. You got the spinner as well, but it's
underutilized.
It's just lacking in something. Like, for me, is by far the worst 3D Zelda game, by far. There's no competition for it. But it's still great.
I think that's one of the things you pick up on, like the spinner, for example. Mm-hmm. You only get to use that in one particular place, and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. You can use it to defeat enemies, but it's not in the kind of puzzle mechanics that you do use. And there's so much potential for little items like that, and then they're underutilized, basically. Greg?
Well, it's been the game I got at the launch of the Wii with Wii Sports, so it was a nice wee diversion from when we weren't like playing tennis and ball in the living room. I could sit myself and play, let's kick back and play some Zelda. But like with most Zelda games, like I played through a good chunk of it. Must have been about 20-25 hours, and then found myself falling away from it again. And it's not because I wasn't like enjoying it, because I was. It just seemed to happen. Mm-hmm. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I do remember having a really good time with it, and like Nick says, the dungeons were, for the most part, very, very good. I do have the Wii U version as well, and I think I'm about 10 hours through that, and for some reason, like, I can't remember where I'm supposed to go, and I can't seem to like get proper guidance in the game of where I'm supposed to be going next as well. So like, even looking it up online, I still can't quite figure out where I'm going. So I'm almost at a point where, like, if I want to play it again, I'm going to have to start from the beginning and go through that slow tutorial process at the beginning once again. Don't know, it's a good game, but like, I would agree that it doesn't maybe have the magic of the other Zelda titles, and because I do want to go through it again, and I've thought about sticking it on the Wii U again and maybe starting from scratch, but we're sort of at that point now where it may come to the Switch. Yep. And I might just wait and see what's happening there before I would jump in again.
Ultra HD.
I should say before we move on that Midna is one of the best Zelda characters. Like, as much as the story is not that great, and as much as it does sort of copy a lot from Ocarina of Time in how it's structured, I do think that Zant and Midna, especially Midna, were really, really cool additions to the franchise. And I would have liked to have seen them gone in a more unique direction with all of that, rather than sort of just having, it's Ganon again at the end and stuff like that.
Yeah, see, I missed all that the talking was all in Japanese, so I never got that, so I kind of brushed over that part of it as well. But moving on, bundling two together now, we'll go fly through after these two anyway. We'll fly through the rest because a lot of them are remakes. 2007, 2009, Phantom Hourglass DS and Spirit Tracks DS. I like the first one, based around the ship mechanics of the Wind Waker. I like the second one because of the mechanics of the dungeon were more streamlined. If they both came together and took the best bits of each game, it would have been a far better experience. Not bad. Finished both of them. Can't remember anything about them, to be honest. Instantly forgettable. Nick.
I played Phantom Hourglass briefly, and the only thing I can remember about it is some sort of multiplayer game with Zelda in it. And I can't even remember what you had to do, but I do remember playing some... Was it a multiplayer game, or was it... It's something that's not part of the main game, basically.
You had to control her as the Phantom?
I can't
remember.
Yeah. But I don't remember playing the main games. I barely played the DS, so... It's not a surprise. Never played Spirit Tracks, definitely.
Greg's stylus controlled movement. Did it gel with you?
Yes, but I'm disgusted that you're bundling both these games together because Phantom Hourglass is a game I had a really, really good time with.
I can remember enjoying it, yeah.
Yep. Like, I remember when I finished it, I thought this could be one of my favourite DS games, actually. And you'll have noticed in our discussion so far that none of the top-down Zelda games have really worked for me up to this point. So to actually have one on the DS, which is fantastic... Like, I really loved it, and like the touchscreen controls, like drawing lines for like the boomerang and writing stuff on the map and all. I thought it was all really cool, and I actually started playing it again towards the end of last year. So I may resume that and see if I can get a bit further, because like my memories of it are a wee bit vague at this point. I just remember like loving it at the time. Spirit Tracks was an entirely different beast. The train aspect wasn't too bad or anything, but it was the dungeons which you have talked about, which actually I absolutely loathed, and it's because it was like controlling Zelda as the Phantom around those. I felt like it really slowed down every dungeon because you had to like stop and like draw lines to control where that was going to go, and then it moved around slowly and stuff and did whatever it had to do. I just absolutely hated the dungeons in Spirit Tracks. And I know people complain about the Temple of the Ocean King in Phantom Hourglass because you have to repeat it again and again and to get further and further, but like I actually didn't really mind it that much. But yeah, out of the two games, Phantom Hourglass, head and shoulders, and if anything, it would be up there as one of my favourite top-down 2D Zelda games. Like, so, yeah. Opinions, eh?
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.